everybody's living in this, again, this cult-like environment where nobody's choosing their jobs, nobody's choosing their spouse. You got to get in line. If you fall out of line, and they'll get you back in line. Again, there's 3 times you get chastised, you get released. What is this mysterious release? And once you find out about it, you want me to love you, but you don't love me now. Why should I give my heart to you? We gonna shut that motor down. I've been searching for you for a long time now, but you've left my heart's vision. Now you want me to stay in your life. That won't happen again. No, you said no. I said no. Can't blame you. No. I like that book. I like that book. Is up on you now. What am I doing right now? I read a book this month. So of course I read a book this week. If you guys hear random noise, I'm in the truck yard, of course, truck stop here in somewhere Indiana, and there's a workshop ahead of me, right, where this guy's blocking, and he just parked his loud ass truck. And then of course this guy's getting worked on, right, something with his wheels. Very nice truck indeed. And so work with your boy. So I read a book this week. It was by author Lowry, and it's called The Giver. Cannot win, man. It's categorized as YA. I'm sure a lot of you guys heard of it. I know I seen it back in elementary school and things like that. Never really read it. Hell, where the hell I'm from, we never really read novels and books like that to begin with any damn way. So a lot of this is me catching up, doing this channel, me catching up on a lot of good reads that I missed out on, enjoying reading so late in my life. It was very short. I kind of wished it was longer. It's a fantastic novel for young readers, but to me it seemed like it was rushed a little bit, especially towards the end. But other than that, like a lot of YA, there were some serious topics at discussion here. So check out this here summary from Libby.com. So it says, Jonas's world is perfect. Everything is under control. There is no war or fear of pain. There are no choices. Every person is assigned a role in the community. When Jonas turns 12, he is singled out to receive special training from the Giver. The Giver alone holds the memories of the true pain and pleasure of life. Now it is time for Jonas to receive the truth. There is no turning back. That's deep. And so when it comes to the plot, when it comes to the pacing of that plot, I felt like the author, Lois Lowry, definitely eliminated a lot of fluff. It was very little to no fluff in this book. The story was pushed ahead. It was pushed ahead, and I noticed that a lot of the revelations came with, in the words of Will Smith, when he go ahead and erect story, and when he thinking about a new story that he want to put together, the revelations came with a universally relatable emotion. So you learn something that might surprise you, right? But not only that, it's a deep emotion that comes with it. It was easy to follow, you know what I mean? It was a low learning curve and thing like that. It wasn't steep like you probably get with a Brandon Sanderson novel, of course, his sci-fi and fantasy. And everything was understandable. This kid is amongst, it seemed to me like a small community, and everybody had their roles, everybody had their place. They were strict on kids, right? There was this thing called precision of language, where you cannot say, it's a damn fly in here, all right, he left. You cannot say, you know, I'm mad at you, you know what I mean? You had to be precise, you know what I mean? Like, what are you mad about? Made you think of cults in a way as well, because I'm like, man, these people are like buttoned the hell up, you know what I mean? Like, call me by my name, bro. Don't say I'm an 11. Are you an 11? I'm 11 years old. And at the same time, it seemed like everyone was down for the community and in love where they were. There was no pain. There was very little, you know what I mean, weariness and anguish. Everything was pleasurable. You know, it definitely had a sense of wonder, right? With this strange world that you were in. All of the rules, the methods, the rituals and things like that. And it had a great voice for young children. And as is important in a lot of dystopia fiction, I thought it was unique. I definitely thought it was unique. This shows you how late I am to reading, but the first dystopian novel I read was The Hunger Games. And so, you know, chastise me later. By the time you're adults, you already, you know, bought into how they do things around this place. I think they just call it the community. But at certain ages, you know what I mean, you get, you know what I mean, a lot of milestone gifts. And at the age of 12 is the big one. And that's what we're working our way up to in the beginning of the novel. At the age of 12, you get your assignments in this community. We learned that our main character, Jonas, is going to be set apart for a special assignment and an honorable role, which is he's going to be dealing with a lot of the memories where normal people don't have them. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the forbidden fruit thing, right? The Garden of Eden, where you realize, okay, everybody can't touch this fruit, but again, this kid is going to be assigned for that. And slowly but surely, the giver, who is already in that role as the one who holds the memories, is going to be giving it to Jonas, the main character. And we see that how he's set apart and how he's dealing with all of these different pleasurable memories, but also, you know, the painful memories that have to come with that. You can see a big change coming in this character. The build up to the ceremony was done well, even though I believe that the morning of the ceremony, I thought it was like anticlimactic because the build up was so great. And then the morning of it, I'm like, oh damn, it's already here. But at the end of the day, it's just created a lot of wonder, and it captures the voice very well. There's short chapters in this book, right? It don't say 1, 2, 3, 4, just a little pause, and then it comes back on to keep children's and young adults attention a lot better. Again, the kids seem more educated and things like that. They were very, very paid attention to. I mentioned that, again, this precision of language where, they were saying things like apprehensive, instead of nervous. They have to be specific, or perspiring instead of sweating. You know what I mean? Like, just educated, just smart, intelligent kids. Stirrings instead of wet dreams. Hint, hint. You know what I mean? Just weird stuff, man. Weird stuff. There's some cringiness going on in this novel that you will read. Kids being around nakedness, not having no problem. And some stuff that I'll talk about later with the giver and how he gives these memories. Okay, all right, hands off. And so the point of the ceremony and these kids getting the assignments at 12 is to prepare them for their adult life. And you definitely see some purpose there. And I learned that I like sci-fi fantasy for the fact that they're very unique, right? This world building have to be set up thoroughly. Meaning, you know what I mean? The things that they got to do to live in this world, it has to be consistent. It has to make sense, right? So no holes in this world building. Two is, a lot of the times our main characters are going to be exempt from a lot of things that all the other characters have to go through. And so it's not that we see the holes open up, but we see where there's maneuverability in this world, and that's always fun to read or whatever. So another thing is probably how charming it can be, right? Like they call homes and houses dwellings, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like I said, I thought that the way the giver gives those memories, man, just placing his hands all on this child and the child feeling all warm sensations and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, this is before its time for sure. So I'm sure when I read a lot of classes, I'm probably gonna get that same experience. So I'm glad I read this one on a lower scale just to prepare me for that reality, because you know, a lot of novels were written by you know, people who don't have the same ideology and things that are sensitive now. So I had to prepare myself for that. I think the moral of the story here is that knowledge is power. And in this role here, it's not so much power, but it's honor to have that knowledge, right? The memories, the history. You know what I mean? Memories in this book was like Dragon Balls. You know what I mean? They were sacred. They were important. And you know what I mean? They should have been chased after. And once Jonas got these memories, you know what I mean? He wanted nothing more than to share it. You know what I mean? He was wondering, like, okay, well, why don't more people get this? And so you start seeing the conflict in the book, and you start seeing where, okay, something could pop off here. It can go in another direction, and it's very relatable. There were two kind of feels to this book, right? It was very lighthearted and fun in the beginning, but once he met the giver and once he had his new role, things turned tense, and you'll feel that. I also learned that dynamic characters, you know what I mean, they possess this strong quality of not going along with, you know, the system. They're curious, right? They want to figure out what's going on. And you know what I mean, it's not that just they have this feeling of, okay, something isn't right. Usually they do something about it, right? And that's what makes them so attractive to be a protagonist. They always have to have their hand in there, and we know that because we're reading this story, there's going to be a big change. We're going to see, you know, the world be normal and people going on with their everyday life, but the big change that's going to come, hopefully good, is probably going to be by the hand of the protagonist, or they're going to be a big influence in it. And it's relatable because you know, we see it as readers, and in this book you might think like, okay, something is wrong about this cult living, how everybody's moving robotically and stiffly, people not having memories and these experiences that, you know what I mean, was way back when. I think it hinted on centuries where everybody's living in this, you know, again, this cult-like environment where nobody's choosing their jobs, nobody's choosing their spouse. You got to get in line if you fall out of line, and they'll get you back in line. Again, there's 3 times you get chastised, you get released. What is this mysterious release? And once you find out about it, just know it's dystopian. There's going to be a couple of instances where this kid is getting these memories and things like that, and he's like, oh, like, that's stupid. What's this thing called war? Like, what was that about? Like, it's just much safer being in this environment that we're in right now. And a lot of it makes a lot of sense. But then we come to the moral of the story, which is memories are meant to be shared. Other than that, you're gonna feel lonely, like the giver and the receiver being the main character. You're gonna feel very, very alone and feel like things isn't right. There's something beautiful in choosing, you know what I mean, your own mistakes. It's not that you want to make mistakes. It's about the freedom to go out there and say, you know what, I want to try being a truck driver. You know what I mean? I did banking for a while. You know what I mean? I felt like, I'm talking about me now, Charlie Crawford. I felt like, you know, being an investment banker was the route I was going to go by, and it was kind of chosen for me. But I'm extremely happy doing what I'm doing now. And if I was in this community, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, where would that get me? That's not kind of like free will, right? That's why God, I believe, gave us free will. And it's very, very hard to understand unless you have wisdom. That was one of the big things that they hit on in this book. It also makes you think about, you know, what happens when legacy is called for. Because again, Jonas wasn't sure, you know, what kind of role or assignment he was going to get, but he had to drop everything and carry this burden of holding these painful memories, lose his childhood. But at the end of the day, you would have to, you know, read it for yourself and come to the conclusion. Did he like knowing that other worlds really, really existed, or other ways really, really existed? Or would he have chosen to, okay, no, give me my childhood? I think he would have chosen the painful route that he went down, because there's something beautiful in finding out there's this thing called love. With this community just being, you know, just so hands-on and so condescending on its citizens, things like that, the curfews and the choosing of the spouses and the choosing of the children, it's absolutely, to us, it'll be ridiculous. And you see this one kid getting color and getting feeling, getting true feeling out of his assignment. And so good child rearing, the constrictiveness of an orderly society, for fear of pain of the past, just a lot of things that you can learn from this novel, this great dystopian book. Overall, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. It's something that is going to be, let's say, subjective and probably better to rate amongst children that it's meant for, or the audience that it's meant for. And so I know that there are other books that follow this. Again, it was short, so I'm gonna definitely want to check those out. Maybe I can do those in a continuation of a YA or middle grade series that I'll do here. Don't look at me like that. I'm talking to myself, by the way. Okay. So at the end of the day, Lois Lowry, I don't know if you're still around, or if you're still writing. Didn't do my research there, but I love the book. I definitely want my child to read this to show her that it's not all about hiding. It's not about hiding away in the community for fear of, you know what I mean, the past. Let's learn from the past. Let's take in a lot of these memories. Let's share the memories and not keep each other in the dark. You know what I mean? It's okay. We're gonna screw up. We have screwed up. We're gonna continue to screw up. But we learn from our mistakes individually, and we get better collectively. And so I'm definitely gonna get this to my young one and whoever else want to read it. I'm hot. And so at the end of the day, I respect it. I'm that way. So peace. Charleroi out. Let that sink in.